Hello, hope you're doing well. It is now Tuesday and we're nearly a week into the new year. And wow, what a week it's been so far. We've got Donald Trump going full alpha over everybody, which is fantastic. If you don't like Donald Trump, then please remove yourself from my channel because I think that whilst he might be a bit of a contentious issue, he's the best of, that movie, Enemy Mine, where my enemy's enemy is my friend. And that's how I look at Donald Trump. He's the only Western leader that has actually got the courage and the balls and the kahunas to stand up against the elitists and tell them, I ain't doing what you say. But you go back to his United Nations speech back in 2016. He told them, you can do what you want with the rest of the world, but don't you touch America. We will not forgive our sovereignty. Not on my watch. It ain't going to happen. And their faces were like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this. And they're all looking, going, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And yeah, I did a video on that and I got a strike for it. I got taken down. I think I've been able to put it back up. But, how long it lasts, who knows these days? I've heard other people say that they've had videos up for quite a few months, maybe 6 months, and all of a sudden they get removed for some hate speech or some misinformation or some bullshit. So who knows? You can't be guaranteed. But this stuff here are these little black critters that are up in the sky. And they aren't just in the sky. They are everywhere. And you look at the videos that so many people have posted. They look like, they say they're like the Dementors from Harry Potter. Those black things that look like kites, but they're not kites. But then they shift and they move and they morph and they change their direction and they do all of that type of stuff. They fly. That's these guys. And as you can see, they've got black bodies. They don't have really arms and legs. They do little hands. And they've got these white eyes. And you can see them everywhere, these white eyes. And they actually eat. Believe it or not, they actually eat the other things. They absorb them. So you can see them taking bites out of things. You can see them up and about everywhere. And I've known about these guys for quite some time. I've tried to look and find other information on them, and they come up as shadow people. But these are not shadow people. These are entities. They're different. And these, as you can see, they're going across, these are off the ISS. So they're not black clouds. They're these entities. They have these white eyes. There's always two. They're their eyes because they're these little critters. And I don't know, they act like ants. They swarm things and they completely smother them. And they're up in the night sky. I think the night sky is predominantly these guys. And they create the glitter with their eyes. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look at it closely enough and have an open mind, you can see it. And I've had them come up on my windowsill, which, I'm 6 levels up and there's no outside ledge that anyone can be up there doing stuff, putting stuff there. They were there. And it was like, this is 2020 and it's before all the weird stuff started happening. And I'd only just sort of moved here before COVID hit. So I wasn't really sure what was going on. I know it was a bit scary, a bit frightful. I had all those eyes, all those people looking at me. Every time I'd look out my window in my bedroom, there was something in the clouds staring at me. They were always right out the front of my apartment, right above my window, outside my window, visible for me to see. They could see me, I could see them. And it was a little bit, oh. And this is the ISS. This is what it looks like. And sometimes you can see stuff. You can see reflections of things. And it's amazing when they have their helmets on. You can see reflections of things because they don't think you're smart enough to see that. They just think you're an idiot. And so even just that thing to the left there, it looks like a human face with a mask on, like a helmet. Not a mask, a helmet. But these things are up in the sky, they're out and about, and this is just some strange, weird stuff that you can see from the ISS looking down on the planet. And I'm not going to call it Earth because it's just a planet. And they are there, and they will smother you and swarm you. And they look like cellophane, sparkly cellophane. And I've seen them many times, and I've seen them in other people's videos. I've seen them in quite a few places. So they're not just over Australia, they're over the whole planet, which is quite fantastical to believe. So there they are again. You can see them. They have, sometimes they have little arms out in front, other times they don't, because they can shift and manipulate their body because they are either they're plasma or or they're something like that. And the fact that I'm catching my throat. I've been doing that a bit recently. But anyway, that's them again. As you can see, they're absolutely everywhere. You can see where the two white dots are. That's their eyes. They're always two. There's always two of them, two eyes, because that's what they do. And they just hover onto things, they attach to things, they go into trees, they go into bushes, they go everywhere because they are everything. And as I've been saying about these critters up in the sky, what do they want? Why are they here? And when are they leaving? They were the questions that I had. I'd been saying those questions for 5 years, but I haven't had any answers. But that's okay. You have an answer, then you stop looking, you stop being curious. And I will never stop being curious. I will never ever stop. But that's them again. They're just everywhere. And that's just the ISS floating over. And people just think that's just some dark clouds there. No, it's not dark clouds. Look, it's not dark clouds. They have these white eyes. White eyes. And they're always watching. Maybe they're the watchers. I don't know. Or I don't think they're fallen angels. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're the minions of the fallen angels. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Have you ever seen them? I know some of you that have followed my channel for some time have seen them, and I appreciate that people have told me that, and I enjoy any feedback and communication that gives some information to me, and that's the whole idea of the communication that we have, the channel, that we can talk about this stuff and hopefully find some realization or some understanding of what these things are. This is, again, just from my balcony. This is the Housing Commission down below underneath me. And weird crap there. They're there. They're in her garden. They're everywhere. So I think they do attach themselves to some people. I'm hoping that they haven't permanently attached themselves to me. The fact that they were outside my balcony is a bit, oh no, because it did get a bit fearful. It did. I'm not going to lie and say it didn't, because it did. And we're coming up to those two pictures where they're outside my balcony. They're coming up. That was just something that was in the sky. And here they are. That's my balcony window. And you can't really see it there, but that's them there. Can you see them? They're on my windowsill looking at me with their two little eyes. They're looking at me. There they are. They're all standing there on my windowsill. Because I'm in a double brick place. There's a tiny little lap, a lip on the windowsill. And that's them looking at me. You can't tell me that they're not there. They're there. And they've got two eyes. Some of them, sometimes they look like they've got a fangled tooth that hangs out, like, what you used to see for the vampires. They'd have one sort of like triangular type tooth, and you can see that. But that's them. And they were just sitting there on my windowsill, right where when I look out, and right in my bedroom. So, and again, it's nothing to do with dirt on the inside or condensation or anything like that. This was, and it's got the date on it, I'm pretty sure it was like the 15th of July, 2020. Just before my birthday, the day before my birthday. And actually happened, it was midnight, so probably would have been just on my birthday. So was that their present to me? They came to celebrate my birthday with me? I don't know, I'm only joking here. But that's them. Tell me what you think. Okay, take care. Bye.